That's awesome. That's great.
Penny for it. Yeah. Can I get an intro from you?
Yeah, sure. What do you want? What do you want me to say?
You're the boss.
I'm the boss.
Anything you want.
Yeah, do the theme song to Who's the Boss.
Really? God, what's it? Show me that smile again. Is that it? That's it, or is that growing pains? On your crying, or you're trying? Is it trying or crying?
Don't waste on your crying, I think.
Don't waste another minute on your trying.
Or is it growing pains?
I think that's growing pains.
That's growing pains.
Shit. I know Family Matters. That's the one I know very well.
Really?
Of course. I can't sing.
It's a different.
Let him go.
I like that. No, I want to hear what you think it is.
No, you don't.
Well, Family Matters. The lyrics are: it's a rare condition in this day and age to read any good news on a newspaper page. Love and tradition of the grand design. Some people say it's even harder to find, but there must be some magic clues behind these gentle walls. But all I see is the power of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene as days go by, etc., etc.
There you go.
Yeah, you go.
And you are.
Carl Winslow. What is it? Is it the deeper love of the family? I think that's the chorus. Yeah. You know, I live less than a mile away from the house they use for the intro to Family Matters. Just saying.
I'm surprised you don't do a tour whenever.
That would be the one thing it would say on the back of my baseball card. That's the one interesting thing about me.
We still don't know who he is.
No, we don't.
Or what he draws.
But you do draw, and you do write.
Yeah.
And you are.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Ryan Brown, and I write and draw God Hates Astronauts, and I draw a book called Curse Words, and you are watching 11 O'Clock Comics.
Back at you, people. Hope you're loving this 2 times a week
Must be
thing.
Tuesday.
In theory, yeah, or late Monday night, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As soon as we get the timing done right, and I know when the damn thing, I check to see when you're posting it.
Oh, I should send you a message. Yeah.
And I'll know to post it on the Slack.
I just do it blind. Yeah,
I don't know. That's fine.
I totally forgot the featured image last night. That was my fault. I forgot it. I am fallible. What? Cute. I'm cute, but fallible.
Jason's like, you're half right.
Yeah, whatever. You are not fallible, dear listener, because you have come to the right place. This is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 897. We are barreling down to that 900 mark. We got stuff planned. Not much, but stuff. And I am Vince B.
You are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
Oh,
indeed you are, and of course I am Brock Jones, but you can call me Torpedo.
Oh, nice. You actually could be Brock Jones. Put a little meat on your bones, like if you had a sandwich and stopped with this bullshit, you could be Brock Jones. But
well, according to you, I'm heading right back to 260.
Oh, you're sliding. You're sliding big time. You're not Brock Jones, the great Torpedo, created by Marv Wolfman, co-creator of the Teen Titans. You're Jason Wood, everybody, here together on a really special episode because we are going to do something that I never, ever thought possible on this show. And I'm glad it's happening. But we procured the book for this episode at
cheapgraphicnovels.com?
Yes, cheapgraphicnovels.com. We all got it from the same place. Why did we get it? Why? Because they were the cheapest place around. OGNs, trade paperbacks, manga, and omnibus edition, of which we will speak soon, at drastically reduced prices. Go to Amazon. Make your browser go in 2 tabs or something and search for a book on cheapgraphicnovels.com. Take note of the price. Go to Amazon, search for the book, and you will be astounded how much cheaper it is at cheapgraphicnovels.com. It's stupid. And here's what you're going to do. Order, not much, some, because you're going to save. Order you're going to get an email that says, hey, thank you very much for ordering from cheapgraphicnovels.com. You're going to reply to that order notification and say, you know what? Man, I never would have known the grandeur of cheapgraphicnovels.com were it not for 11 o'clock comics. And Max is going to say, oh, it's like a bouncer at the door of a club, right? Max is going to let you in, and he's going to give you free shipping on your next order. It's crazy. cheapgraphicnovels.com. That was a little bit overdone. I'm sorry.
Never can say too much good with too much emphasis when it comes to Max's CGM.
Right. But I tried to do too much with it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I overreached. Maybe next time. But the reason why I overreached is because I'm drinking. Yes. I'm actually finishing off the bottle that I started last episode. This is called Rosso Bastardo. It's got a 98 rating on the Universal Great Wine Scale that Jason follows so much, a.k.a. the Fred Mertz scale. It is a red wine from Umbria. I told you I'm going to Italy, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. And this is delicious. So I'm drinking it. I have a very, very great fear of going to Italy. I'm probably not going to want to come home.
Sure.
I didn't want to come home, bro.
No, I mean, I'm not coming home. So I'm going to, when we're there, I'm going to check out the internet options, the housing situation. I'm not kidding. So
It's a magical place.
it is. Yeah. That's where my people come from. Well,
yeah,
the
I did that part of Italy on purpose, but,
Oh
but
my
the rest
God.
of Italy was lit.
You didn't go to the island?
No, we didn't have time to go down.
Well, your loss.
No, we would love to. Next time we'll go there.
Well, if I'm telling you, if you went to the island, you probably wouldn't be married anymore because they would have rolled the red carpet out for your wife, and she would have
Bro,
been like,
I roll the red carpet out for her every day.
"Yeah, but you can't compete with a Sicilian dude."
Oh my God.
I mean,
It's true.
there are many.
He does a
There are
couple
many
digits.
There are many areas of the world I would agree with that, but I'm not worried about the Italians.
See, blind spot. We'll snipe you. Continue.
Whatever the opposite of hang low is, hang high. That's what the Italians are. But,
It's not fun. You're wrong.
but speaking of Italian, I am drinking an Italian thing as well. I'm drinking San Pellegrino Essenza,
Nice.
tangerine and wild strawberry.
Nice.
It's awesome.
I like I do like their oranges. The Clementine, they do have some good beverages.
You damn skibby, baby.
Yeah.
Living reflection of a dream. That tangerine.
Aw.
Yeah.
I am enjoying some lovely Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It is 96 proof, which means it's 48 alcohol by volume. 40%, alcohol by volume. With a splash of seltzer.
Nice. This is a dream episode. What you're going to hear... No, it really is. Because I never...
Been waiting for this. This is 800 and some odd episodes in the making.
896. Yeah. I never, ever thought, number one, that Rom would be back at Marvel. Now, I don't know about future storylines. I really don't care at this point. If they happen, great. If they don't, whatever. But the fact that Marvel published an omnibus, not just one, but it's going to be one of 3, I think.
Probably 3, yeah.
Collecting Rom, the original Marvel years. It's literally a dream come true. Like, I have all these issues, of course, but the luxury of being able, we say this all the time, to go to our shelves and pull off the first volume of ROM. Words cannot express how joyful this makes me feel. Like my heart is bursting with white light from the mouth of infinity. And it's a wonderful thing. Reading what we're doing this episode, for those of you playing at home, is we all got the Romnibus, Volume 1. we all selected a single issue. It's kind of like long box roulette, but not. It's omnibus roulette. We bought an omnibus, we selected a single issue, and we're going to talk about it. In this case, it's ROM, Space Knight. Shut up. I want to cry.
The other nice thing about this is that if all Marvel Omniboo were this size, I would have read like half of them instead of the 2% that I've read that I own.
Yeah, I got to kind of side-eye Marvel because this is only, 25 issues?
No, 30.
Okay.
It's 1 through 29 and the Power Man and Iron Fist issue.
All right. It's $125.
Yeah.
List price. I have seen omnibus editions that are twice plus the size of this for less. So it's like, I think their fingers are a little bit on the scale with this omnibus, but we don't know what they had to pay to get the rights back. Or at least the reprint rights. So it may have cost something with Hasbro, Kenner, whatever. But I'm glad they did, because now Rob's back home.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know we know very well that Vince read all these coming off the stands, so that's a given.
Yes.
Dap, what about you with ROM?
Not maybe from the first issue, or I read the first issue later, but yeah, I would read issues here and there. I had a good chunk. I was pretty much collecting it near the end, especially with those beautiful Akin and Garvey inks. But the I was just more. I would check ROM out when he would have other Marvel characters showing up, but it wasn't anything with consistency, especially at the beginning, not until the later years.
Yeah.
Right.
ROM and Micronauts were my favorite Marvel books. And then Micronauts went away. And ROM was my favorite Marvel book for the duration of its run, all the way to 75.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, as a kid, I remember reading Micronauts off, like when there was an issue at 7-Eleven or something, I would get that. But I don't think until this omnibus came out, I don't think I ever read any ROM formally.
Wow. Well, yeah. There was a point in the Micronauts publication where it was direct only. So that 7-Eleven went away after a while.
Yeah. Well, there's an issue of ROM when you get to the letters page, and there's a blurb that says starting next month, Micronauts will only be available at direct market.
Yeah, it was in the 40s, 30s or 40s. No, not 30s. It was in the 40s, I think, when it went direct only. But and then the New Voyages, was a newsstand too, I think.
Yeah.
But no, I've always had a very soft spot for ROM. I think it's one of the best things ever to come out of Marvel. Bill Mantlo was a genius. It's unfortunate the way the universe treated him later in life, but creator bless him for creating these stories, because I think they're just flawless. Obviously, they're not perfect, but in my eyes, they are. Like, it was such a joy to read these issues. I cannot objectively assess the merits of ROM. It's just impossible for me. I'm sorry.
Right.
It was a magic time in Marvel history for me, and I see it as nothing other than, the pinnacle of what Marvel did during those years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like many, I think this is a highly anticipated collection because it had been out of print for so long. I actually do own some of the single issues, although, again, I've never read them. But before we get into the 3 issues that we chose to review, I will just say, and this probably sums up how I felt, I read the entire omnibus.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Jason.
But I'm saying, like, my point is that I devoured 30 issues with the quickness. It was not it was hardly a chore. It was a joy. And I just all right, I'm going to read the whole thing.
It totally broke my heart towards the end of the run when the Dire Wraith War kind of spilled over into almost all of the Marvel Universe. And it still wasn't enough to keep the series solvent. They canceled it. And as they were coming out, I'm like, oh my goodness, Dire Wraiths they're going into Fantastic Four, they're going into X-Men. Like, what is happening? This is great. This book's going to be around at 300. Unfortunately not. It ended at 75, but yeah.
Just like AMC was going to 2000.
Right. But it is a joy to behold. And as Jason said, we each selected a single issue. Ironically, they're in ascending order. Right? I selected 21.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we'll start. Why did I select 21? Because it is the first full appearance of the new Torpedo. And Torpedo is a character I really love. Not on a I can't relate to the character at all. It's totally superficial. I think his costume is ridiculously cool. And I've always loved the character. Up until his unfortunate demise. We won't have to go there. But I read ROM Space Knight number 21, which of course was written by Bill Mantlo, penciled by Sal Buscema, inks by Joe Sinnott. Can you get a bigger powerhouse crew? I don't know. Color art by Bob Sharen. And there's a long history with Torpedo. Brock Jones is not the first to don the costume, or the suit, as they call it. Marv Wolfman created Torpedo. The previous owner of the costume, his name was Michael Stivic. And Brock Jones, Torpedo version 3, acquires the armor after Stivic was mortally wounded when a building fell on him while he was battling Daredevil. So, I mean, Torpedo appeared in Daredevil, and then it jumps into Defenders. But after donning the costume, Jones is mistaken for Stivic and is quickly hunted by the law, not only for the misdeeds of the armor's previous owner, but the law thinks that this Torpedo killed Stivic in that battle with Daredevil. Like, he's responsible. So Torpedo Jones eventually battled Daredevil again, and when the dust settled on that, he decided to give up the hero game. I'm done. The suit's not worth the problems. It's all because of Senator Stivic wanted to create this armed forces based on the Torpedo costume, but the giving up the game doesn't last for long, because he helps out the Defenders and later finds himself in Clairton, West Virginia. And who's in Clairton, West Virginia? Well, Rom is in Clairton. And Rom's in a bit of a pickle, because during a recent stint in Limbo, the Dire Wraiths showed him visions of Galador in ruins. Places fucked up. So Rom desperately wants to go home to either learn if those conjured images were a Dire Wraith trick, or to aid the survivors and help with rebuilding his homeworld. Problem is, he's grown accustomed to these Earthlings. He doesn't want to just leave Earth unprotected, because he knows the Dire Wraiths are around. Particularly the area of Clairton, West Virginia, a place of which he's grown quite fond. And who lives in Clairton, West Virginia? Well, Brandy Clark. Rom loves Brandy very much. And Brandy kind of loves Clark, but, you have Steve Jackson around to screw things up. So if Rom could only recruit someone, a superpowered protector, to take up the reins of battle in Clairton, West Virginia, while he makes this long, arduous journey back to Galador, and that person turns out to be Torpedo, Brock Jones. But Brock's being pursued by these flying men called the Rocketeers, and they're searching for the Torpedo suit, the very thing that forced Brock to move from his last residence. And during the battle, with the Rocketeers. Brock does his thing as Torpedo, and he's a lot like Cannonball without the imperviousness. He bludgeons these dudes, and when he did, they turn into heaps of dust, and he didn't understand it. Obviously, they were dire wraiths in disguise. And he, not knowing what to make of the dead Rocketeers, he and his family, his wife Lorraine and 3 kids, and I swear Nell is Baby Trump. You see that panel where Nell's in the cradle, and she's it looks like Trump, and so yeah, there's that. So he beat the hell out of his previous residence, and he goes to Clareton, West Virginia, and he takes a job as the coach of the Clareton High football team. Meanwhile, Rom uses his energy analyzer to create his very own version of Cerebro. This is very smart. He uses the energy analyzer to blanket the planet to pinpoint dire wraith infestations in the population. It's really smart. Then, in typical Marvel fashion, Torpedo sees a red streak going across the sky, and he thinks it's the Rocketeers coming to retrieve the suit, but it's not. It's Rom. Rom initially sees Torpedo as an enemy. Slam, bang, boom. They fight for a few pages, tearing up that football field. Jones' future office, doesn't matter, rip it up, until Rom decides not to fight. He just stops mid-battle, and he allows Torpedo to barrel down on him, and eventually Torpedo realizes, like, wait a minute, this guy's not fighting. He hits the brakes, and they talk, and Rom clues him in to the dire wraith infestation, which Jones immediately links to Senator Stivik, the instigator of the Rocketeer guys coming after him. See, it was Stivik's nephew, Michael, that relinquished the suit to Jones, and Stivik wants that suit back. Now, and that things he thought were Rocketeers were in fact dire wraiths, so not surprisingly, the Torpedo suit may be of dire wraith's design. It's a little bit of Bill Mantlo revisionist history. The Torpedo suit was never a dire wraith creation, but in the hands of Mantlo, it did become one, and it makes sense, right? I don't think anybody was feeling some kind of way that they tweaked the origin or the origin of Torpedo V3 to be a dire wraith connected device when it's in the pages of ROM. Like, it just works. So Rom is now eyeing Torpedo as a protector of Clareton in his absence. So everything's good. He can possibly go back to Galador. The only thing that's holding him back is the journey would take him many, 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 many years.
200.
Yes. Is there someone out there, and I'm hinting at future storylines, is there someone out there that could possibly get Rom back to Galador quickly? Yeah, we'll get there.
Wonder.
But these issues of ROM have backups. Yes, the Saga of the Space Knights. And it relates to the events of ancient Galador, 200 years in the past. I don't know if 200 years is ancient, but it's a long time. One of their most valiant space knights, the Terminator, is now a renegade. And he storms the Hall of Science, and he blasts the bejesus out of the Angel Elite, who look like they're from Thanagor.
Yes, that's exactly what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah, but it's odd because they're Galador's genetically enhanced winged home guard, but they have no armor. It's like they invested all their ore resources into the Space Knights, and they're like, yeah, those Angel Elite, fuck it. Just give them a bandolero and some wings and some nice hair.
And that's what kills me is that the bandolero's in gold, the pants are green. It's like, could you just not just maybe change the color scheme just a little bit to make it look like?
It's very Thanagarian, yeah. They do have nice hair.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they drop like flies because they're not much of a guard against the Terminator, who breaches.
Not that elite.
No, he breaches the Hall of Science. And in doing so, he's confronted by he who condemned him to death, Galador's Prime Director. Terminator thumbs his nose at the Prime Director. He enters the hall's cryogenic chamber. Now, this chamber houses all of the mortal remains of all of the Space Knights, including Rom. That's a big deal. And he prepares to destroy them for standing idly by while the dickhead Prime Director put him to death. And it's just a vengeance-fueled rampage. And unfortunately, it's continued into 22.
This chamber has everything except spell check.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. and they devoted a lot of space to that bird's eye view of just basically nothing. Like it's just
Thanks, Sal.
they're all of the bodies are interred into these drawers in the wall, and it's just a very smooth glass-like. Yeah, it's a glass-like surface, and it's basically just a study in perspective. Like, okay, good job. But it's ROM, so therefore it is flawless. It is almost the best thing to ever come out of Marvel. So yes. ROM 21. There you go. I love Torpedo. I really do.
I don't. I mean, it's been so long since I've read this and looked at least the bulk of these characters, and I never realized how brash and arrogant Brock comes across.
Oh yeah, he's a bro. He's a bro.
He's definitely a bro. Yeah, he's Vander. But it's.
I was just gonna say that, you dick. I wasn't gonna say he is Vander, but I think Vander would enjoy spending time with him. Yes. But the thing that got me was
he's gonna hear this in like a year from now. He's gonna be like,
exactly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
During the battle, they Mantlo infuses the narration and the dialogue with football related jargon, and I was just like, oh, okay, we get it. Yes, thank you.
You watch football Sunday.
Once again, I knew what he was talking about because it was entry level football stuff, so it wasn't like the more contrived, flag on the play thing with the whatever they do. But no, I thought it was cute, and the fact that the wife Lorraine cries when they pull into Clairton with the U-Haul, and everybody's like, "Hey, how you doing, Brock? Like, let's help you move your stuff in." And they get in really quick, and the wife's like, "Oh, we're finally home." Like, sweetheart, tamp it down a little bit, okay? You're not safe. You're really not.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but it's ROM. It's just pure bliss on paper. I love the design of ROM. That Wolfman created Torpedo in the wake of the Republic serials with the Rocketeers, and it's very pulpy.
Which makes sense because all the villains are called Rocketeers.
Right. Yeah. And I just love the character. He gives me a Booster Gold kind of vibe a little bit.
Yeah. I
got that.
Even without the football
exactly
connection.
Right,
yeah. But anyway, the costume is so friggin' cool. Cumbersome, yeah, maybe. But back in the day, I was reading it and I thought to myself, like, what if one of those wrist gauntlets or leg gauntlets, just stopped working? Like, he would just caterwaul in, at weird, angles and stuff, but it never, it's wonderful. So
I am glad that that the design does include the ability for the protrusions around his calves and forearms to kind of they pop up when he's ready, and they're kind of they slide into the suit when he's changing into when he has to just kind of wear the suit under his clothes, right? Because the ends of his gloves and boots are just, the helmet's one thing, but what he's got on his by his hands and feet, aesthetically, I don't. it's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, would you call it a bangle? They're like high tech bangles or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anklets. I don't know what you would call them. But
I mean, they serve a purpose.
They're friggin' cool.
They look a little goofy to me. But
no, I love them.
I know. They're cool. They're cool.
No, you're just saying that. But back in the day when Torpedo was introduced, I was like, holy shit, this guy's the coolest thing ever. I love him. And then as you read the series...
How aerodynamic they'd be if you're flying around in the sky.
He's awesome. But as you read the series, as the series progresses, something very unfortunate happens. So, yeah. Yeah.
Questions and comments. Okay. First of all, the opening scene of Brock and Lori and their kids driving in the truck, talk about being of its time, because they got 3 baby kids in the front seat with no seatbelts on.
Oh, yeah, for real. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Seatbelts. The baby is laying in the middle. Like, if he had hit the brakes, the baby could fucking crack its head on the window.
Yeah.
But
he's a good-looking guy, that Brock Jones.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he
gets it.
He's very Steve Rogers.
Yeah. And just note here that Buscema draws frightening kids, because there's other scenes on something. He clearly didn't know how to draw a kid. Like, he drew them. Just like the John Byrne. All they did was they drew adults with baby bodies.
Don't say he didn't know how to draw kids. He may have glossed over those.
He said he drew frightening kids. It's weird to me that Brandy's in love with Rom.
Why?
But because Rom is a emotionless automaton of a robot. Like,
he's no. He's not emotionless.
Well, okay.
He doesn't have the ability to consummate a physical relationship.
What I mean, he's right. The words may be emotive, but he can't show it. So, but no, I mean, listen, get in where you fit in. You know.
Do you know where the series goes though?
Yeah. Well, no, I've only read. I've read 1 through 29, so I don't know. Be honest.
Oh well, Brandy eventually Brandy will do something that makes her more.
Oh, she becomes a space knight?
Yes.
Dude, you don't have to worry about spoiling shit that's 40 years old.
Yes, she does.
Well, but you haven't read it yet.
Who cares? It's 40.
I listen. We can discuss the merits of stories that are fun, but it doesn't matter how old it is. You haven't gotten to it yet. So I'm just no, bro. I know it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It already happened, so you can find out about it. You can stumble across it in Wikipedia, but you haven't gotten to it in the story yet. So you lost that emotion of it. That's all I'm saying.
She becomes the new Starshine. Yes. The most ridiculous.
I hate that face. Oh my god.
No, I love it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's a cute little diamond
with a little plume.
Oh, I love her. Leave her go.
Lori is down to fuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's wanting it.
Yeah, she's like, I'll unpack the sheets, honey.
Yeah, she's like, oh, the kids are in bed. She's like, I'm gonna unpack the sheets. I'm like, you go, girl. You go.
I think from now on, I'm gonna call Vander Torpedo.
Yes.
I think that's
his next commission. Why is it an insulting?
Why?
Brock Jones is like he's like a bro. He's like a douche.
Dude, he's jacked.
Well, you're not talking.
He loves football.
I'm not gonna Vander's battles for him, but damn.
Oh, and he's a good-looking guy, all of which Vander is.
Got a family. He's a family man.
Yeah.
He's doing what's right. He loves
Dude,
football.
I would not do our brother wrong.
Dude, he's a football player.
I didn't say he was the freaking frog. You know, or it's not the frog, the toad. Like, he's a good-looking, football-minded, handsome. Shut up.
Oh, shit.
I'm done.
Just digging it deeper. Keep going.
Yeah, I know. I realized that it was coming out of my mouth. I'm like, no.
Oh, God. A couple other things.
I love you, Brian Vander.
Rom is in his feelings about how all the heroes keep attacking him. He's like, why does hero keep attacking me? And it's like Jack of Hearts attacked him.
It doesn't end.
Attacked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The one thing I didn't get, dude, I did not get it. Why would he be contemplating suicide? A hero like that? Like,
yeah.
That's soft.
Well, he's on the edge. He's like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. It's been 200 years I've been doing this, and I'm just going to. Yeah, he gambled and he won, fortunately. But yeah, it was a weird.
Yeah,
weird
that was
play.
Weird to me.
Yeah, it was a weird play.
To me.
Well, he loves Brandy, and she didn't return his affections. But
Sure.
if you give up your humanity in order to fight the good fight, and you've been doing it for 200 years, one would think you were made of stronger stuff than to just crumble in the face of an unconsummated relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, overall it was a lot of fun. Looked good. It was just the right amount of silly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the dialogue is definitely dated, but that's just the nature of the way that comic dialogue was written back then. You know what I mean? Like, that's just is what it is. If you're either going to be okay with that era of comics or you're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was into it.
And I think Sal draws the fins on Torpedo's helmet a little too tall, because he's ducking to go through doorways. Like, he's got to duck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, I love the ROM costume. I love it.
It is a good look.
So much. And it's amazing what Bill eked out of, like, no facial features. There's none.
Mm.
You just got two flashing eyes. That's it. And
yep.
Or Sal. Sorry, Bill wrote it. Sal drew it.
Yeah.
The stuff that Sal managed to do with Rom, and then it even gets better when Aiken and Garvey come on. I know Sinnott is amazing, and he's Mount Rushmore of inkers, but I think the book looks even better when Aiken and Garvey come on it.
Now, I wanted to make a point here because last episode, I made a note to bring this up for this episode. Last episode, you said, when we were discussing the roulette books, that you don't need every character to sound like they're speaking like real life speech.
Yeah.
Like that. And I thought it was interesting when you made the allusion, because one of the things that I noticed this week reading ROM, I also happened to read a huge chunk, it's going to warm your heart, of Howard the Duck, Vince.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, and I got to tell you that the thing there are many things, and this isn't a night to talk about Howard, but there are many things that I enjoyed about my dive into that. But one of the things that really struck me is how natural sounding Gerber's dialogue is.
Incredibly realistic. Yeah.
It just sounds like people having real conversations, which is hysterical, because
100%.
like a talking duck.
Yep.
And I thought, man, this dude was writing in a way that was way more ahead of its time in modern than all the other dudes, which again is not to say like the way that Mantlo wrote ROM is wrong, but to me, Howard reads as timeless.
Yep.
Like, I could have, if you had told me this came out 3 years ago and I read it, I would be like, oh, cool. Like, I wouldn't, because it is written so naturally. And I think that is an incredible achievement by Gerber, and like makes it stand ahead of most of the other Bronze Age stuff.
I will endorse that check.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Respect.
The best writer to come out of Marvel.
I haven't read enough of his work to say that, but I'm liking what I'm getting so far.
Good. All right, let's move on, because time limits and all.
So I chose number 23 of ROM Space Knight, because we've got...
Not surprisingly.
Well, yeah. For one thing, the story takes place in New York. But we also get a team up. And of course, this issue follows. This is a two-parter. It starts in Power Man and Iron Fist number 73, which Rom goes to New York because he is looking, again, as Vince said earlier, for a way home, back to Galador. So the briefly with Power Man and Iron Fist lead-in issue, Rom gets to New York, starts zapping New Yorkers with the neutralizer. Of course, zaps a pimp who is extremely happy that he still lives. Unfortunately, one of his prizes, Polly, she's not so lucky.
Right.
How bad is it when the pimp isn't a dire wraith, but the hoe is? Like, what?
And he's sitting here holding on to her ashes, screaming, "No!" Our heroes for hire are seeing a play. They get the news about something going on downtown with an alien coming around. This dude in metal, zapping people, killing people. And when Luke as Power Man and Danny as Iron Fist show up to the office, there's a message from Reed Richards explaining what's going on to the best of his ability, from what he can tell. And it's weird because we see the Fantastic Four kind of like in action, sort of, but it's just Human Torch kind of just like pirouetting, flying up in the air. Invisible Woman, or at this point, Invisible Girl, is just kind of making her little invisible spheres, and Thing for some reason is just screaming. But Reed is like, listen, good luck, Luke. I know you can handle whatever's going on in the city, and just that's basically it. So Luke and Danny do come across Rom, as with Torpedo. Heroes meet. There's a huge misunderstanding. They fight. Luke figures out that Rom isn't actually trying to kill people. There's a method to his madness, and they decide at that point, with basically the National Guard and the cops and everybody coming to the city to put a stop to Rom, the Heroes for Hire and Rom decide to duck out, and that's when we cut to Rom proper, still by Bill and Sal and Joe. So they escape in the sewers, and we get a great page of the rest of the Marvel heroes in the city. We've got Spider-Man swinging around. We've got Daredevil. We've got which I don't know what the hell Daredevil would have done, but and we got Moon Knight on his ladder. Like Frenchie is off panel.
It's like what?
I know
all these heavy hitters: Spider-Man, Daredevil, Captain America,
all the heavy hitters, and
Moon Knight. Like, okay.
And Captain America, of course, on that awesome motorcycle, and then Iron Man just hanging out in Adventurous Mansion because that's what a hero does. But he doesn't. He's got a logical reason or valid reason for him is that we don't need people to see another armored being flying around and thinking the worst. So because people are colorblind and they can't know they can't understand shapes, so they wouldn't know the difference between Iron Man and Rom.
It's like they all look alike type of thing.
Now, in that panel where Iron Man's in the window and he's got the curtains pulled to the side, he's my late mother-in-law. Like looking at the neighborhood, like, oh damn, Jenny's going out again. She just came back and she's going out.
Oh my god,
Tony, you have nothing else to do.
That's awesome.
So we get a quick little recap of the events from Power Man and Iron Fist, in case readers weren't spending the 60 cents on that issue, and we get the and Rom is in an awesome disguise.
It's the best, dude.
It's ridiculous.
It is the best.
With a whack ass looking trench coat that doesn't even go down past Rom's thighs, and a fedora.
It's the best. It is the reason.
It's like
no one's gonna recognize.
Wear show to a bachelor party.
Shut up.
Perfect.
Death of Jean Grey. Rom in a trench coat with a friggin' fedora. Like,
how does the scales balance? How do you? Holy shit! So they get to the sewers, and before we continue that, we cut to West Virginia, Clariton, and we've got Steve trying to put the Mac on Brandy, but she of course looks out the window and she sees a streak, which of course is Torpedo, but her heart jumps a little bit because maybe it's Rom.
Look at that costume, so nice.
And so Torpedo's just zipping around, but there's a fog coming over the town, and it's just kind of changing not emotions, but it's for example, Torpedo comes across some ne'er-do-well trying to mug an old lady, and he's yelling at her to give her his bag, for her to give him her bag, and the fog takes over both of them, and Torpedo comes down. He's like, "Put that gun down, punk!" And he's like, "Gun!" and the gun flies out of his hand, and Torpedo's like convinced that something bad was about to happen, and the dude's like, "Nah, man, I heard this lady scream, and I came to help her up." He's like, "Yeah, no, I was falling. He helped me up." And he's like, "What the?" And then they walk away like arm in arm. So
Eldritch Dire Wraith magic.
that's happening while the home of Brock Jones. We cut inside, and there's Lorraine,
baby Trump.
That is the oldest looking baby.
He's a baby Trump. I'm telling you.
It's like Benjamin Button over here. So we've got
it's like you borrowed Pip the Troll.
Seriously.
Oh, it's nice to see where Ariel Elevator got it from. So we've got
Mother, I hurt. Lorraine's a fine looking woman though.
She is. I mean,
yeah. And DTF too. She's all salty that her man's out patrolling all the time and not giving her the action.
What she wants to do. So the fog leaves the baby's room before Lorraine gets there, and of course now the baby's calm. Mommy's here. The baby's calm because of the fog. Cut back to New York, and there's a huge spotlight on Power Man, Iron Fist, and Ram in a trench coat. But it looks like they kind of like slowly set it, like it's a scene from Airplane where they're going to slowly walk out of the spotlight and the cops won't see them anymore. But they get fired upon. The trench coat gets torn to tatters.
Unfortunately,
yeah, that would have been a great outfit for the action figure. The Rom picks up a dump truck, throws it down on the ground, making their escape through a manhole, and now they're in the sewers. And this boggles the mind to no end. Luke is like, okay, the Baxter building is right above us. I'm going to break us in by knocking this wall down.
Bro.
How the fuck?
Mantlo, I mean, come on, Bill. I know we're churning these out every month, but come on, bro.
Well, remember, Cage was a member of the Fantastic Four.
But how did you just break down the wall to get into an area?
Because he knew it was there.
Bro.
Come on.
If it wasn't Luke, what if it was the Wizard? What if it was Mr. Hyde?
They wouldn't know. But Luke, being a member, I think he was a member of the Fantastic Four before this issue.
He mentions it in the book.
Yeah.
He's going to use his key, which just happens to be in his chain belt for some reason. But it doesn't. They must have changed the locks.
It's totally kosher.
They deactivated his card when he got fired, so this way, you can't come back in. So
I don't blame him.
Rom's like, hell with this. I can get us in. Busts open the elevator door. The elevator's not there, obviously, so they got to climb up. And Luke and Danny are climbing the cable of the elevator shaft. Rom is breaking his way through the wall so he can climb up that way. Now we got lasers attacking because, of course, even though they can break through a wall, Reed does have an alarm system in place so that now the building is attacking them. Rom splits off from the crew and makes his way to the control room where he can turn down all of the...
Well, you forgot the Herbies.
Well, yes, that's...
Herbies attack.
Yes, multiple Herbies, and we get... And in case you didn't know what the acronym stands for...
There you go.
We are humanoid experimental robots employing B-type integrated electronics.
Mm.
We were created by Reed Richards and programmed to safeguard the Baxter building in the absence of the Fantastic Four. We possess the power to fulfill our programming. They attack. Rom splits off, startling Luke, and he makes his way after looking. Is this the column? Is this the machine that took out Spider-Man from that team up?
I do think it is. Yeah.
Okay. So he's just Rom's had it. He's being attacked 6 ways stunt day, and now he's about to get smashed between these two massive girders, and he's just no more. Breaks it down. Finally gets to the control room. The lights in the back of the building dim. Everything's deactivated, and they make their way to the hangar where we've got the Pogo plane, the Fantastic Car, which of course must be out being used because the Fantastic Four aren't here, and this saucer, which was used by the Skrulls. Before, and this is what's great. This panel, he's like, Rom asks, how does one operate such a craft? How is it programmed to carry me from Earth to Galador? And Iron Fist is like, we thought you'd know, bro. And Rom's like, I'm neither a scientist nor a pilot. I have never flown a spacecraft in my life. And so that's when we hear off panel.
Danny, don't be a jerk.
Looks like you're stuck here, don't it? And that's, of course, when the Fantastic Four make their appearance. And Thing is feeling some sort of way because Ben can't stand that the person who was like basically taking his place during the 2 issues that Luke Cage was a member of the Fantastic Four.
Longer than 2 issues.
It was in his presence, he's Luke has the best way to determine whether or not Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four are dire wraiths. He asks, I have one question. Mr. Fantastic, when you hired me, we agreed on a certain salary in exchange for my services. You remember what it was? And Reed says, I do. And Reed Richards names a figure, which we don't know. And, of course, at that point, Luke Cage, hero for hire, breathes a sigh of relief.
$14.
No, it's probably minimum wage. Because, I mean, after all, Luke is black. So Reed would play him. He would pay him minimum wage.
He really would.
No, that's not right.
So, of course, with that, because God forbid the dire wraiths may know what you're thinking, but he's just like, okay, yeah, no, that's got to be it, because no way any other white man would have given me a larger figure than that. This dude knows what's up. So he's like, everybody's fine. They're going to give Rom the saucer so he can fly away to Galador. We've got Rom. We've got a couple of panels of Rom saying goodbye to New York City, saying goodbye to Earth, being surprised at the stars, and after all these years, he says, I am going home, and he flies off, and we get the last 2 panels are of the Fantastic Four and the Heroes for Hire, still looking up in space, even though Rom should be in hyperspace by now, and then Reed asks Luke, what if the dire wraiths had the memories of the people they were impersonating? You would have you'd be in a little bit of trouble at that point. And then he's like, maybe we should beef it out of here, Luke. And that is the end of the issue. Although the next issue, which we're not talking about, asks, anyone remember Nova?
Hell yeah.
This is funny.
That is a fine looking Susie. With the little whoop de doop in the hair going on.
Whoop de whoop.
Yep.
And then Reed's got to hold on to her because, he's insecure.
No, he's not. He loves her.
Questions and comments?
Go for it.
Yep. Yeah, first of all, you guys already hit the Spidey Daredevil Moon Knight cap thing. Was hilarious. I was like, Moon Knight, really? Another sign of its times, we get a full page recap of what happened in the last issue of the series.
Love it.
Literally, like the last issue. Like people are like, bro, I just read this. I don't need a whole page. But anyway, dude, I cracked up when they declared martial law in New York over Rom. It's like, bro, this is the Marvel universe. You guys have fucking super villains every corner of every street in New York all the time. Like what? Like martial law? What? Made no sense. I like the old Steve being mad salty that Brandy isn't feeling him because she's got feelings for the Rom-Lama Dingo. I made the same comment Dap did. I wrote, it is absurd that they broke through a wall to get to Four Freedoms Plaza. I think that's just ridiculous. but like, hey, that's cool. But in their defense, there were then a lot of traps, of defenses. Yes. So it wasn't exactly as easy as they thought it would be. And then, dude, it's such a reminder in this how Reed for so many years of Fantastic Four treated Suze like she was a dumb bitch. Like, she's like, oh my god, how incredible is it these aliens can shapeshift into other things? And he just looks at her and he goes, you mean like the Skrulls?
Bitch, you mean Skrulls?
Like, you dumb bitch. Like, fucking the Skrulls, are you forgetting about them, you idiot?
Stop.
And I was just thinking, that is how Reed treats her through, like, the first, like, 20 years of the book. Like, every time she brings up something, he's just like, well, actually, you're dumb for asking that. But it's crazy, and it cracked me up.
You need to stop talking like that.
Just bring the truth, dude. Truth hurts.
It was a fun issue. It really was. Nothing. That's one of the highlights of the series. Not Baby Trump, but seeing Rom in the fucking head, the fedora and the trench coat is the best.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I am up with issue number 26.
You were pretty smart selecting
Yes.
this one.
Yes, Galactus on Galador.
Yeah.
Much like your two issues, also written by Bill Mantlo, also penciled by Sal Buscema, and with Joe Sinnott inks. And this is one of those comics that I remember very fondly. Had the Columbia 10-speed banner on it, which I definitely remember that period of comics, and was definitely a key period for me in the early days of my reading. So by this point, Rom has been on Galador for a few issues, and this is this issue starts at the morning of the defeat of his persistent arch nemesis, really throughout the first 30 issues of the book, Mentis. He has defeated Mentis, and they are kind of like coming to terms with the reality, because what we didn't get, this all happened, 26 takes place after this, but in between Dap's issue and mine, he shows up to Galador, and everybody's like, oh, Emperor Rom, Lord Rom, nice to see you. And he's like, what are you talking about? Turns out that the Terminator, who Vince mentioned, gets put into an identical Rom suit by Mentis at one point, and basically much of the time that Rom has been on Earth, Terminator as Rom has been running Galador, and then they have a big battle with Mentis and so forth, and then ultimately Terminus turns face after being a heel. And although it's interesting because they have the same suit, so it's hard to tell them apart. But by this point, they're kind of convalescing after that big battle. And this gigantic Kirby-like ship rolls into the atmosphere, and of course we all recognize it as Galactus' ship. And there's an awesome double-page spread with Galactus and Terrax and all the Space Knights. I think it's fantastic. Like it's a beautiful page. It's a kind of like double-page spread you don't often see in books at this time.
Yeah, it is really good, but I think Sal took liberties with Terrax's face.
Yeah, the face is a little wonky.
It's a little wonky. Yeah.
But
I love Sal, but
it's a majestic spread.
He was getting it done.
Yeah. So Rom and Rom 2.0, aka Terminator, battle Terrax. There's lots of exposition, about what they're going to do to each other. We get a little bit of the recap of the issues that we skipped over, where we learned about the Prime Director's evil half was being Mentis, but now he's free and he's this giant floating head in space. And the Prime Director heads off as a giant floating head into space to investigate, and comes across Galactus himself. And Galactus makes short work of him, probably not surprisingly. We get to see a bunch of the other Space Knights. Starshine is up in there being like, how are we going to do this? There's a period of dialogue that I noticed during this issue that I was so giddy. In one page, they use the words indomitable, insufficient, and implacable. And you put the word implacable in a comic, and I'm stiff.
Yeah,
I'm stiff. That's hot. That's hot. Because again, it's like they're not writing down to kids, right? They're using high-level vocabulary.
Grown-up words, yeah.
Yeah, grown-ass man words. We meet Starshine, or we see Starshine. We see Hammerhands. We see Javelin. We see Rainbow. Rom and the Terminator head for Galactus. He makes quick work of them, swats them away like they're flies. We then get a full recap of the Terminator's history again. So it's like the fourth time in the series we get that story in 29 issues, or 26 by this point. Then we hop over to the Earth for a second. We get the fog was from the Wraiths, turning everyone into mindless ones. It's kind of like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers of sorts, or like a Pied Piper deal, right?
The whole series is Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And at this point, this fog has turned everybody in Keratin into mindless ones, basically, and they're lured like a Pied Piper into this mine, and seemingly going to be lost down in the mines, and then the Dire Wraiths show up, and now the whole town is doppelganger Dire Wraiths waiting for Rom's return. Now we're back to Galador, and Rom has had the good idea of breaking into Galactus's vessel. And there's this weird scene where, like, he's looking around, and, like, Galactus has got his place pimped out. He's got stuff from all the different, basically, civilizations that he's destroyed. And Rom calls him a rapist, which is super weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're a rapist, a monster, an abomination. And, like,
He's not wrong.
I don't know, rape?
It's a strong word. I mean, I get it in this context, but it's still a strong word to say. Especially, I mean, today, yes, but back then, it still might have been a little harsh.
Yeah. And then, like, the next panel, he's like, but he was also a poet. And I'm like, you can't be enraged and call dude a rapist, and then, like, a minute later, you're like, buddy, I kind of had to...
Well, he's a rapist poet. Yeah, he's a rapist poet.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Maybe he was a therapist.
That's
So they do best Terrax, despite his best efforts. And he's all in his feelings because he was beaten, and he says, "I'm the best herald that Galactus ever had because I'm immoral. All the other heralds were too moral to really do what needed to be done." And he said, in fact, Galactus is the most immoral of them all. And then we kind of go from there. Rom is destroyed everything inside of the ship, and they basically, their only hope at this point, because they realize they can't defeat Galactus, he's way too powerful, is Rom pulls the okey doke, and he's like, dude, don't be eating this little planet right here. I got a whole galaxy of planets for you. And he convinces Galactus to leave Galador and head to the Dark Nebula, which, if you've read prior issues of Rom, is the domain of the aforementioned Dire Wraiths.
Super smart.
Yeah.
Super smart. Yep.
I like this issue a lot. Galactus was going to do his due. I like that they took down Terrax. It was fun. There was some weird moments, but they kind of made it funny. But overall, I thought it was a really action-packed issue, and like you said, really smart around Rom being, he's outsmarting Galactus, which is what you have to do, right? Like, it's always like Galactus is always like, it's like Mr. Mix's pit. Like you're never going to defeat him. You got to, like, somehow trick him into losing interest in eating your particular planet.
Totally agree. Yeah. Yep. And I think I have to agree with Terrax that he is the greatest of the heralds. My
girl Frankie Ray wants to have a conversation.
Come on, dude. Nova, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
disqualify Silver Surfer because because he redeemed himself and became a hero.
He becomes his herald again later, though.
He does, but obviously Silver Surfer is the greatest of the heralds. But because he became a hero per se, so did Firelord for a time, and then Nova. I get it, but of the subordinate heralds, Terrax is definitely the best.
Yeah, I mean, because Norrin went back with some concessions, right? Like he wasn't going to just. Yes. I mean, whereas Terrax was just like, listen, here's a planet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. So, but what amused me is that Terrax gets bapped on the top of the head, still has time to give his speech about how he's immoral and how all the other heralds were greater because they had morals, keeps talking, and then eventually falls flat on his face.
Yeah, he's tired.
Let's play a little impromptu game.
Okay.
Herald, or can you name, how many heralds do you think you can name?
Okay.
Surfer, Nova, Firelord, Terrax.
The green guy. The guy with the scaly green guy.
Scaly green guy.
Yeah, tall. What the fuck was his name?
I mean, I don't know, bro.
Aunt May was a Herald of Galactus, too.
Yeah, golden oldie.
Yeah.
Yep. So Tyrant's the first one.
Tyrant! Boom.
Then the Fallen one.
Right.
Then Airwalker.
That's it.
I remember him from Mahatma.
Yep.
Then Firelord. Then Terrax. Then Nova. Then Morg the Executioner.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes.
He wasn't green, but I don't know why I thought he was green.
Then Redshift.
Yeah.
Then Stardust. And then the Praetor. And then one story arc heralds included Rom, the Destroyer, Dazzler, Aunt May, the Human Torch, the Ultimates, Doctor Strange, Thor, and Kazar.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of weird.
Yeah.
So basically, everyone in the Marvel Universe was a
Herald. If you weren't,
that's a tiny amount.
If you weren't Captain Universe, you were a Herald.
Really?
There have been way more like Horsemen of the Apocalypse than there have been Heralds.
I agree with you. Yes, that's very true.
It's a lot of Horsemen.
Yeah. Franklin Richard Horseman. All right, everybody. Hey, that was great. We love these books so much, and we thank you for playing. As always, please check out our sponsor because you will get your OGNs, trade paperbacks, omniboo, and manga at rock bottom prices. cheapgraphicnovels.com. And if you would be so kind, please check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. We have recently transitioned into a new system where we have only 2 tiers. You can leave us a tip as usual. That's pretty standard for Patreon. But for $5, you get a bonus episode, which is our book of the month, which goes longer, much longer than our regular episodes. So we're trying to finely tune our regular episodes to maybe an hour, hour and a half. Book of the month goes 2.5 hours. And you only get that if you're a patron. It's behind the wall. For $10, you get the aforementioned book of the month episode, and you get access to the Slack, which means daily downloads of vintage fanzines that will probably never be reprinted again. You get page rate, a vintage page. You get covers out the wazoo. You get a focus on a unique artist every month because we love them. So we'll do a whole month where you get a cover image or an interior page image from this artist. And there's so much other stuff like audio. When we do conventions, you're going to get a shit ton of video that only the patrons can see. But the best part about it is the dedicated Slack channel where all of the EOC family congregate every day. We talk about albums and movies and TV and comics and books. Comic art. All of that stuff. It is
memes and humor. That's probably the most active channel.
Thank goodness for Mike. You know, Dap is pretty... participates a lot in the meme thing too.
Yeah, Ray and Flippa, they both
well
memes too.
Flippa, he's kind of dirty with his.
He is
very dirty. Yeah. That's okay though, but because we're all family, and we join every day and talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and it's the best place on earth. So check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/11 o'clock comics in your travels. Ooh, this is not a revelation. Dap and I have been trumpeting this man's talent for years. At this point, I really want you to read Everything Sucks, Noah's Millions, because it's written and illustrated by the great Michael Sweater, published by Silver Sprocket. That's Silver Sprocket. Mm-hmm. It picks up now long after Friends Forever. Oddly enough, Noah and Becca are getting along very well.
Well, at least at the start of the issue.
Well, no, he's actually really kind of sweet and considerate.
Yes, at the start.
Because Noah's an asshole. I mean, let's be honest. He's a fun character, but he's an asshole.
He's a dick, yeah.
And he's very considerate to her. He genuinely wants to know if she's doing okay. I'll call you later. We'll have fun. He doesn't drop the L word, but he's really enamored with this girl. they've done the deed. But anyway, long story short, a wounded reptile thug stashes a huge bag of money in the bathroom of the sandwich shop where Noah pretends to work. And if you know Noah, pretends to work is pretty accurate. Noah finds the money, and his life is drastically changed. He and Kala go on a spending spree, clothes, like a whole bunch of stuff, until he second guesses himself. And he throws the money in a river because he thinks that the money like changed him. It made him a poser. He's not being genuine. He's not being true to his life goal. And then he's like, what the fuck did I just do? So he tries to go after the money. I'm not going to say any more, but again, it's Michael Sweater doing what I think only Michael Sweater can do. Like, we know these characters very well at this point. And there's a double page spread of the perfect sandwich. And I really have to agree with Michael Sweater. That would be my perfect sandwich.
It's a good looking sandwich.
It has mayo on it, so you wouldn't eat it.
No, yeah, definitely wouldn't eat
Right.
it. I've made sandwiches like this, but yeah, I wouldn't eat it.
Mayo, guac, Vidalia onions, tomatoes, a bunch of cold cuts. Like, it is the perfect friggin' sandwich. And these are comfort food. Michael Sweater's books are definitely comfort food for me because I know exactly what I'm going to get. I know I'm going to enjoy them. I'm going to get a sticker sheet in the back of the book. And I just love what the guy does. And Dap read this too. What'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. I thought
it was great.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I may have. It's each one always is entertaining. Every time I get the next one, I have a good time with it. I don't know if it's my favorite of the bunch, but it's definitely. And I'm not trying to rank them or rate, each one or compare, contrast. But this was. I mean, we only really. It's just Noah. It's Kala. We get some Becca, but it's not the entire crew. It's not so crazy.
No.
It's just it's a really straightforward kind of a shorter story where it's just there's a beginning, middle, and end pretty much, and this is the adventure you're on for this particular tale. But it was a lot of fun to go to the thrift store. I think if you haven't read And Everything Sucks, this would be a great
It'd be a good one,
to
yeah.
start with.
You're right. Yeah. Because you ask yourself, after you close the cover, you would ask yourself, what the hell is wrong with this Kala chick? Like, she definitely has something working on her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping that the next one really focuses on Kala, because to this point, we really haven't gotten a whole lot of backstory on
She's touched by an angel, dude.
I don't think it's an angel.
She needs therapy.
No.
Yeah. She definitely needs therapy.
Yeah. There's some shit that's going on in her life.
When I see something from Silver Sprocket coming in where it's just like, hey, new Everything Sucks issue, I'm like, you just made my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it so much. So does Dap. Jason, he doesn't like
No,
that
I
stuff.
enjoyed it. I didn't do this one yet, but I've read some other Everything Sucks because of the Silver Sprocket packages.
But Noah and company are slackers.
Yeah, no, it's not my favorite thing. I mean, this isn't my favorite, but it's well executed. Like I don't like. Yeah,
you still enjoy. Yeah, you can
fun,
appreciate what he's doing.
Okay,
you may not like the characters. But
you know me. I don't buy original art. If we were at a con and Michael Sweater was there and he was selling OA, I would seriously consider parting with some money.
You would.
Yeah. Okay, it's a challenge. Heroes might have to see what we can come up with there.
I want to see if we can find that Little Dick Big Balls T-shirt though.
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't wear that.
Yeah,
you would wear that? No truth in advertising.
No,
nice.
It would say medium dick, medium balls.
There you go.
So there you go. I'm honest. I got nothing to hide.
Oh my god. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. So in your travels, I'm going to go in a completely different direction. This just came out actually. We talked about the first issue of the first, I guess, ongoing more or less of Ultimate Comics. So this was the new Ultimate Universe. This is Ultimate Black Panther by
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too deep on it. It looks amazing. It is written by Brian Hill, who we've written other stories he's done. It is really good at what he does. Stefano Caselli is your artist. David Curiel is your colors, and Corey Pettit is on the letters. We are in Wakanda. It looks as we would expect. In this version, T'Challa is married to Okoye. Shuri, of course, still his sister. She is basically in charge of the Dora Milaje. She's the sister to T'Challa, woman at arms, but she basically, the Dora Milaje kind of rely on Shuri. T'Chaka is still alive, at least when the issue starts. But the big bad, there is war looming, and T'Challa's fine with staying out of it because he wants to, as Okoye reminds Shuri, they have the advantage of surprise because the outside world isn't aware of them, and they only have that advantage once, so they don't want to waste it. So even though T'Challa's spies are out there looking around and being aware of what's happening, T'Challa's like, they said, if we get a small army of the Dora Milaje, we'll be able to. And T'Challa's like, I'm gonna stop you right there because I will take information from my spies, but I will not take strategy advice. So y'all can dismiss and go about your business, but we're going to take care of the matters of the court. And what the spies were reporting back is that it's Ra and Khonshu are basically those who worship those gods are who are about to wage war, and they're coming around running roughshod on some of the people near Wakanda's borders, but towards the end of the issue, there's some pretty cool moments, and so I'm definitely not spoiling that, since this issue pretty much is barely a week old. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I liked this first issue a lot. It was nice to actually see the Black Panther, so we actually get the character in this first issue. Not that it's a dig, but
that was a dig.
Now, see, I got to call you out. Spider-Man. I got to call you out for liking this, because one of the criticisms you had about Ultimate Spider-Man was it would have been nice to see the character of the title in the book. This is a mirror image of Ultimate Spider-Man. It's the same book. You don't see the character until the last 2 pages. It's the same thing. And you didn't like Ultimate Spider-Man because of that. I'm just saying.
That's not the reason I didn't like Ultimate Spider-Man. I would have loved to have, but you didn't even see. At least here, you see him. You get a shadow of. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. That's true. You're right. But I mean, we see T'Challa through the whole issue. We saw Peter Parker through the whole issue, and then the last 2 pages we get T'Challa, or Black Panther. Like, come on, really?
But this is but unlike Ultimate Spider-Man, this is, even though it's the ultimate version, this is still this is familiar. This isn't so far removed the way Ultimate Spider-Man was from what I'm used to reading. It's a me thing. So everybody can love both or dislike one. I don't, but I enjoyed this more than I did Spider-Man because of what I didn't care for in the Spider-Man issue.
Well, this one looks a whole lot better than Ultimate Spider-Man. Just saying.
Whereas the Chichetto in Ultimate Spider-Man looked a little rushed. Maybe rushed or off because of whether it's a new style or he was rushed. This Stefano Caselli, the Stefano Caselli that when I hear that name, I think of Avengers: The Initiative. I think of post-Civil War Marvel, where he was drawing a bunch of books, and I loved his figure drawing. That Caselli is still here. It seems a little bit more I don't know if it's the coloring. I don't know if if there's a change in style. It's a bit more polished.
I agree.
A bit more maybe. There might be some bit more Photoshop applied here, whereas I like the drawings. But I mean, it still looks great. But yes, it's Caselli's kind of slightly tweaked his style.
It's much more streamlined.
Yes,
and the art is sleeker. It's more stylish.
Yeah.
Where Cicchetto's is kind of rough in some spots. Yep. Not rough. I don't mean to demean the art, but rough meaning it looks like he had a limited amount of time in which to lay down the marks. This looked like the artist or Cicchetto or Caselli had more than enough time to refine what he wanted to get on the page and had enough breathing room to get it done. That's what this looks like to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I definitely, if you're on the fence or if you are interested, I would recommend it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's coming next after. Don't they have Ultimate X-Men is coming out in March. I don't know if I'll be first in line for that, but I'll definitely be checking out the second issue of Ultimate Black Panther. So yeah, in your travels, Ultimate Black Panther from Marvel Comics.
I thought this was 1,000,000 times better than Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, just saying. And if they play true to form as they have on these two issues, we may see the Ultimate X-Men on the last 2 pages. Like, why? Whatever.
And what's interesting though about
Cover's
Ultimate
great.
X-Men is that which one?
Black Panther. Cover's great.
Yeah. I'm not trying to prejudge it, and I know that she's obviously written some of those Demon Days one shots, but it's a little weird to me to have the Ultimate X-Men launching by Peach Momoko. I have faith in her. When I think of who could be writing books, that wasn't exactly a name that jumped out at me.
I mean, she's been doing X-Men books for 3 years now, though. But
yeah, I don't want to make Jason feel some kind of way, but I like Momoko's covers.
Yeah,
I'm really not crazy.
for sure.
I'm really not crazy about her writing.
Oh, and why would you? Well, first of all, I don't know why it would make me feel some kind of way. I'm not like Peach Momoko's fucking handler.
Well, you don't have to drop an F-bomb. That's just weird.
I completely agree with you. I think she's a great cover artist. I don't think she can write comics, at least not yet. So I'm with you.
I mean, and I get why she's the it creator of the moment, one of the it creators. But Demon Days is good for what it is. But I really don't have a whole lot of faith in her to helm an entire series. Like,
right?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'll give it a try, but I'm not expecting to be wowed by it.
But people go crazy over her art, and rightly so.
I mean, they go crazy over her covers, though.
I think her covers are very well done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, in your travels, check out and this book is written by one of Dab and Vince's faves of the last few years, Mr. Doug Wagner.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay.
He's so plastic.
No, this is Klik, Klik, Boom.
I know. But
which was drawn by Doug Dabbs. And this book I know was a huge favorite of our buddy Ray. He was singing its praises as it was coming out. And I finally had a chance to sit down and read it. It came out last year. It's a 5-issue miniseries. And it's awesome. It's basically a nonstop action movie in a comic. It's the protagonist is a young woman. She's probably like in her early 20s would be my guess. They don't really say her age, but just based on her experience and her what a badass she is. I'm guessing probably early 20s. But in any event, her name is Sprout. She is a mute. She does not speak, and in fact, the only way she can really communicate is by showing off pictures of Polaroids that she takes, because not only is she mute, but she was raised in isolation by her adopted grandfather, who was a doom prepper. He was a Vietnam vet, and he was a doom prepper, and he taught her how to be a badass and how to survive, but she is like a total fish out of water. She's never, almost like Tarzan, she's never seen a city, like her normal clothes, or she has just no frame of reference for anything in pop culture. But unfortunately, her grandfather is murdered by a man who's the head of a gigantic New York company, like a kind of like a think tank, and so she comes to New York to seek out the bosses of this company responsible for her grandfather's death and avenge him. And that's what the story is. And it's so well crafted because of the conceit of her only being able to communicate with Polaroids. So she leaves Polaroids all over the scenes of crimes. Well, not crimes, but like when she takes somebody out, she befriends a New York woman named, she's a blogger, or podcaster rather, and a true crime podcaster. And she gets involved in the whole thing. And befriends her, and she's using these pictures to communicate with her. It's a really interesting conceit to play with a visual medium like comics by creating a character who has to speak through visual mediums. You know, it's a little meta, but it really works well. Dabbs' art really works well and executes the mark like really, really nicely. And then when it is time to actually have good old fashioned battles, she's a total badass. She's, John Wick-esque. She can kill people in lots of creative ways very effectively with very little weaponry. And yeah, so it's like a classic revenge tale. And I doubt we'll get more of it because I feel like the story had a beginning, middle, and end. But it was super satisfying, and Ray was absolutely right to sing its praises.
Ray likes this book?
He loves this book.
Yeah, I'm out.
Oh, damn!
I'm out, dude. You can't shit on you cannot shit on the Chili Peppers. I'm kidding because I love Ray.
I know,
but I wish he would just like soften his approach on the Chili Peppers.
Adorable.
Hey everybody, thank you for being here with us one more time around. We hope you come back next time. It's just going to be a relentless assault of EOC because we are barreling down on 900. What we have planned, I don't know, but I'm sure we'll do something, and then we'll move on as usual.
Yeah, I mean 900 is an arbitrary number.
I think so. Yeah, it's not 1,000. Thousands are going to be a big deal.
1,000. We'll do something cool for 1,000. We'll live from Tokyo.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be really nice. But anyway, come back next time. But in the meantime, go to your comic shop, get some comics, talk about them online. Come to our Facebook page or our Slack. I told you how to get there. And in the meantime, say goodnight. If you're happy and you know it, shake your foot. If you're happy and you know it, shake your foot like torpedo. Oh. David.
Good night.
Sing the song.
Book of the month is Preacher.
Oh, yeah.
Truth.
But you're only going to be able to hear that if you're a patron.
Truth. That's right.
Yeah.
So make sure you get on that. David.
I don't know.
You don't have to.
So. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you brought it. I think you brought it.
I mean, listen, it's okay to be wrong.
You say that
it's fine.
all the time. I'm never wrong.
I mean.
Yes, it's true. All right. We love you. Tell them you love them.
Love them.
Love them so much. We don't love them hoes.
They're not hoes.
That's it for that one.